Hi, everyone. So very quickly, I just wanted to go over this chart, this assignment, the real-time literary device activity, to make sure you understand exactly what we're asking you to do. So as you complete this chart, you're going to be finding 7 different literary devices. As you find these 7 different literary devices, you need to keep in mind that 1, you cannot use imagery. You can only have 2 similes and 2 metaphors. That means you're going to have to find some other literary devices to use as well. For example, allusions and personification, paradox, oxymorons, juxtaposition. These things are going to be pointed out to you if you listen to the audio that goes with real time. These are some things that we included in our discussion. Also, you could locate these on your own as you're reading each night. Remember that each night you're supposed to be adding in, you're supposed to be highlighting examples of literary devices and labeling them in your book. This is why, so that you can come back here and find this. And we have irony down here, so you can't use it, but I think we're going to say you can. That's a good one to use, right? So let me put it there. All right, so what are you doing with these literary devices? Let's talk about it. So the first thing you're going to do in this column, you are putting the MLA quotation from the book. If you forgot how to do that, here it is. The quote goes in quotation marks, space, no period, Cass, the author, space, page number, end parenthesis, period on the outside. So in this box right here, section 1, pages 1 through 20, you're going to leave that. You're going to go right under it, and you're going to put your first quote right there. Okay, so we know what it is. An example. The tears and screams inside the emergency room echoed the sounds from his bombed-out home, but were now contained in what felt like a powder keg of emotions waiting to explode and tear the hospital apart. This is from a different book. This is the author, the page number. So this quotation right here is an example of a simile. So the second column, you have to identify the literary device. So it is a simile. The next column, you're explaining why it is that literary device. So why is that quote a simile? Well, the feelings that he's holding inside are being compared to a powder keg. Those are the two things being compared. That's why this is a simile. It also uses as to compare those two things. All right? So I gave you some hints here. If you're doing an allusion, what is it an allusion to? What is it? If it's juxtaposition, what two images are set next to each other? Oxymoron, what are the two opposite words? Paradox, what are the statements that are opposite? Okay? Personification, what human-like quality is being given to an unhuman object? So that's what you're putting in this column. The next column is you are explaining literally what does that literary device mean? What does this statement mean? Well, this means that the feelings, which include tears and screams, are building up inside him, and he feels like they're getting so big that they may explode like a powder keg. Like a powder keg. If these emotions are allowed out, they would be so extreme they would tear the place apart. That's what he's saying in my original quote. So you are explaining the original quote using different words. In the final column, what is the effect of the literary device? So the effect always answers these two questions. What does it help the reader better understand? How does it affect the mood? That's what you're thinking here. This helps me better understand the stress and emotion that Tarek is holding inside. It makes me feel sorry for him and better understand the helpless feeling he has inside. This contributes to the dismal, upsetting mood of the passage. So it told me what it helps me understand. It helped me understand that character a whole lot better and the feelings he has. And it contributed to the mood. The mood is dismal and upsetting. So I explain that here. This is what you're doing. You're doing this in chunks. Every time we finish a section, we're going to tell you to go on here and do that line from your book, that line on this chart. So when we finish page 20 through page 20, we're going to tell you to complete section 1 on your literary device chart. That's what this is right here. That's what you would be completing. When we finish pages 21 to 46, we're going to tell you to come on here and do section 2. So you'll be including a quote, identifying the literary device, describing why it is that literary device, explaining what the quotation means, and finally, what is the effect